Right, and before we get to that discussion on the youth and that particular session ongoing in Addis Ababa today and tomorrow, and the expectations on what will come out of that, let's just take a look at a few facts on the youth agenda in the continent. We'll be taking a look at them on our Super Bowl here. So the theme this year, in the AU summit is harnessing the demographic dividend through investments in youth. And that has been highlighted in that story by our reporter, Trix Engado. So when we say youth, that entails anyone from the age of 15 to 24, constituting more than 20% of Africa's population in 2050. Let's take a look at how the constitution will look like in 2050. According to research, 18.6% of the population in Central Africa, the youth will constitute 18.6%. In East Africa, the youth will constitute 18.5%. In West Africa, 18.8%. In South Africa, 15.6%. And in North Africa, 13.9%. Numbers are not too far off from each other. And about 36.8% of Africa's workforce are youth. Let's take a look at the second board and see the tools to effectively engage the youth by the AU. This is in accordance with that particular summit once again. So among the points we have here is a decade plan of action for youth empowerment and development, the AU Youth Volunteer Corps program, as well as the African Youth Day, first marked on 1st of November 2010. These are the things that will be under discussion in the 29th ordinary session of the AU summit, currently ongoing at Addis Ababa, starts today and tomorrow. Let's take a look at the three major pillars in that particular decade action plan for youth empowerment since May 2011. So the pillars are ensuring rights-based approach to youth development, consolidated investment targeting youth socio-economic empowerment, as well as mainstreaming youth perspective in the efforts to achieve broad development goals. And we will be delving deeper into this, see since 2011 whether this has been achieved, whether we are on the right track as a continent to achieving these three pillars that are the action plan for youth empowerment for a whole decade. So some of the objectives for the AU Youth Volunteer Corps program are engaging Africa's youth in the continent's development through meaningful youth participation by providing for the continent, as well as providing opportunities for young Africans to serve. And when it comes to opportunity, we also have a representative of young people, and would love to hear her thoughts on the kind of opportunities that are provided for the youth in the African continent. But providing opportunities is one thing. Are they taking them? This is what this discussion will be all about. Thank you very much, gentlemen and lady, for joining us here. Very good morning to you.
Morning. Morning.
All right, so in studio, to articulate these issues, I am joined by Mike Eldon on my immediate right. He is the chairman of the KCA University, as well as an economic and development expert. Thank you for coming in. We have Imali Ngusale, the young person's voice on the show. We'll be hearing some of the thoughts she has about the youth agenda in the African continent. We're also joined by Peter Nyakwara. He is the Director of Technical Services at the National Council for Population and Development in the country. Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you so much. And finally, we have Dr. Elias Zulu. He is the Executive Director in charge of Research and Policy at the African Institute for Development Policy. Thank you very much for coming in. All right, I think I will start with a young person. Do you think, from the question we are asking our viewers, do you think there is political goodwill from African governments to empower the youth?
I'm not really sure, because it sounds like it's a discussion that has been going on for quite some time, since the 90s, 2000, and right now. It's like the youth are always the leaders for tomorrow. But now the big question is this tomorrow ever coming? Right now, I was also looking at the pillars that are going to be focused. They seem a bit abstract. And when it comes to the voice of the youth, the big question is, why would you decide about the future of young people and not ask them where they want to be?
So you feel like the governments are out of touch with the needs of the youth?
I feel to some extent they're out of touch because they kind of ask them, what do you want? Instead of engaging them in a discussion and trying to find solutions together with the youth.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you agree? Do you agree, Doctor?
Yeah, I think that it's definitely critical that youth should be at the table and should be centrally involved when decisions are being made. But I think going back to your original question about whether governments actually there's political commitment. I think for me, the fact that the African Union has actually made this year's theme harnessing the demographic dividend through investments in youth is a good start. It shows that the political leadership of the continent has come to the realization that we can't really achieve the long-term development goals. The African Union has Agenda 2063. And in Agenda 2063, one of the specific aims there is to unleash the potential of youth. Because you look at the statistics you are showing there, of course you were focusing on the age group 15 to 24. But I think you look at many constitutions in Africa,
you go to 35,
35 and 30. And when you look at Africa as a whole, out of every 10 people, 7 are actually people below age 30, 70%. And if our population is dominated by young people, you can't really achieve those long-term development goals. We can't achieve Vision 2030 if our strategies are not focusing on youth. So to the extent that, our governments are talking about it at the African Union, this is the central focus of the debate this year, it shows that there is commitment to do something. But what needs to be done to actually get the programs to change the skills of young people so that they play this role, I think we are very, very far from getting to that stage.
Mike, do you agree that this particular session is a step towards the right direction because it focuses on the youth?
Definitely. I think this whole concept of what the demographic dividend is or can be if it's actualized, and all that has to be put in place to get from the necessary to the sufficient to make it happen, to have that get continental-wide airing and beyond is absolutely excellent. I was seeing the other day, there are 21 African presidents over the age of 70. Is that a bad thing? Not necessarily.
Is it a good thing?
The question is, how are they getting